So my name is Christopher Hayward. I'm the Vice Principal for Middle Division, and I'm joined this morning also in this call by Miss Pamela Ng, who's the Divisional Coordinator for Middle Division. Um, so this morning we both ran through nearly the same presentation with students in the Oldham Chapel to all of the Year 2 students so they can hear the introduction to this process. And we will both work closely now with your children on their selection process, and hopefully this session now and going through these slides will provide the information to support you as well as parents. So just a point to note that this session is being recorded and a copy of the recording will be placed on the school website later today or tomorrow for you to refer back to, along with some other resources which I will reference as the presentation goes on. So uh, the other point to note is the opportunity for questions and further clarification you may require. You can either type something in the Zoom chat to communicate with us, and we'll try and reply to those either live or in writing in the chat. Or you can use the Padlet for which the link was sent in the previous email and will be shown again at the end of the session. That is probably the preferred place to ask a question on the Padlet. And that's simply because that will be kept as a record. You can go back to refer to it, and also all of our heads of faculty and teachers can also respond to some of the more subject-specific questions that you might have. So please do make use of that Padlet. Ms. Pamela has just put the Padlet link directly in the chat of this Zoom call. So please click on that and you can use that. And a response will be put on there to any question you put there within a couple of days, usually, hopefully quicker. But I won't be taking live questions because we have so many people on the call, so I won't be taking verbal questions today. But do please make use of the chat and the Padlet if you need to ask any clarifying questions. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started now and run through this session. It will probably last about 40 to 45 minutes and hopefully provides you with lots of information to help support your child at this very exciting time from my perspective in their secondary schooling. So the IGCSE program that we run through the middle division is run by Cambridge Assessment, International Education, and we set the IGCSEs for those subjects. And we have a very strong record with our IGCSE, as you can see on the screen, going back the last 10 or 11 years, with our pass rate consistently within the 90% rate. Now, a pass is an A star to C grade, so the grading within IGCSEs is A star, A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. And an A star to a C grade is considered a pass. Now, currently, with the reports that your child will have been getting from school, they'll have been getting a number grade. And so a 7 and a 6 correlates to an A star and an A, with a C grade being about a 4. So really, we're looking at a grade 4 and above, considered a pass, or a grade C and above, looking as a pass. You can also see there on the screen that particularly in the last few years, 62 and 65% of exams that have been sat in the IGCSEs in our school have ended in a distinction, meaning an A star or an A. So a very strong set of results. You can see it was slightly higher in the years 2020, 21, and 22. And really that was as a result of the pandemic where grade boundaries were adjusted, and we did exceptionally well through that period as the global average also increased as well. And also every year for the last sort of 15 years or so, we've received students who have had the top in the world result in certain subjects. So we haven't had the 2024 ones out yet, I don't believe. But in 2023, we had a student who got the top in the world in additional mathematics and another one in music. And really to get the top in the world, it's the best mark in that subject globally. It really requires full marks. There's usually somebody that gets full marks. It's very rare that the top in the world is not with full marks. So an impressive set of results, and hopefully that gives you confidence in the programs that we're running. And I do believe it's down partly to the hard work and quality of our students, but also the exceptional guidance and support given by our very experienced set of teachers. So the IGCSE structure in the middle division, it's a 2-year program. So once choices are made, they last for all of year 3 and all of year 4. And most students will do 8 subjects across the 2 years. Some will do 7 subjects. And the ones that do only 7 subjects are our second language learners who are non-native English speakers. They will do English as a second language as one of their subjects, which takes a little bit more time than a regular class and so has a few extra periods. And therefore they take 7 subjects instead of 8. Um, so every student will take English, whether that's first language English or second language English that I just mentioned. Every student will take mathematics. Every student will take a second language, which is usually the language that they're currently studying in year two. And every student will take at least a core science, and at least one humanities. And then that adds up to 5 subjects. And I said students take 7 or 8 subjects. So that leaves 2 or 3 options where students can pick what they would like to as their additional 3 subjects. So if I click onto the next slide, this is the very important slide that demonstrates the different options available to students. Now, just to be very clear, students will take 1 subject from each of those columns on the screen. Only one can be chosen from a column. The whole column is taught at the same time. So for example, you cannot be in economics and additional mathematics at the same time in subject 2 because they're taught at the same time. So you can only select 1 subject from each of those columns. As I mentioned on the last slide, every student will take a core humanities and a core science. So that's at least one of the humanities and one of the sciences. And then they have the last 3 columns in that table to choose 1 subject from each column. So they can either do a second science after the core science, or they can pick economics, and then in the next option, they can take economics, additional mathematics, global perspectives, literature, or geography. And in the third subject column, they can take additional mathematics, music, art, drama, IGCSE, PE, literature, or business. Unless they're a triple science student, they will take biology there, which means they'll do all 3 sciences of chemistry, biology, and physics. The ESOL students who take English as a second language IGCSE will not pick a subject 2 subject in that column. So they will take a subject 1 and a subject 3 option, but not a subject 2 option, and that's how they will get to 7 different exam subjects. And then just a note, we do uphold the mother tongue policy, but really for every student in the school moving from year 2 into year 3, they will continue with the language that they did in year 2 going into year 3. So the ESOL is not picked as such. Our students who are currently in the pre-IGCSE course in year 2, who are taking ESOL and are ESOL students, they will be guided on whether ESOL is correct for them in year 3 or whether they will move into mainstream English. And then just one note about the languages, because some students might have an option to pick up a new language in year 3, depending on the whether they're Singaporean or not, whether they have to uphold the mother tongue policy. But when students move into year 5 and the IB diploma program here at our school, some students take what's called an ab initio language as their second language in year 5. And that just means that it's taking that language for the first time. So I just want to point out at this point that if a new language is chosen by a non-Singaporean student in year 3, that language will not be allowed to be studied in year 5 as an ab initio language. It would become a B language, which is a language they've already studied. So that might sound a little bit nothing to do with middle division or a little bit confusing. Don't overly worry about that. But if students are selecting a language for the first time in year 3, that would be our international students, not our Singaporean students who have to take their mother tongue. It may impact some choices in year 5, but we can discuss that if you're worried about that at all. And then we do have some restrictions on the selection, particularly for additional mathematics and the sciences. So additional mathematics qualification is dependent on the student's year 2 results, and it's approved by the mathematics faculty. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of slides' time. Likewise, for the sciences, there's specific criteria to meet to take triple science, and they all have to be met to continue. And then the only other restriction that comes up is in the humanities. We do not permit students to take business studies and economics. They are very, very similar subjects and when we have such limited options, it's not advisable for students to take business studies and economics, but they can take one of those and another humanities. So for example, business studies and global perspectives, that's fine. Economics and geography, that's fine. History and geography, that's fine. But business studies and economics is not okay. They can't do both. I've just had a request for somebody asking to record it. I am already recording the session and it will be placed on the school website either later today or tomorrow. So there's no need for it to be recorded. Okay, moving on, having a look at some of the subjects. Now, I'm not going to talk about the next few slides in too much detail because I want to sort of run through them fairly quickly to give the overview. These slides have already been placed on the school website, and the recording of this session will be on the website. And furthermore, there's also the IGCSE booklet was placed on the website last week, but only just added to the Padlet yesterday, which I know some of you were looking for. So that IGCSE options booklet also has a lot more detail than some of these slides for you really to read thoroughly about what the head of faculty has said about the IGCSE in each subject. So first of all, there's two courses that we run in year three for mathematics. The first one is international mathematics, and all students will take international mathematics. That's just the name of the course run by Cambridge. The syllabus code is 0607, and that is the standard mathematics course that we run that every student will sit. And then the second mathematics course is additional mathematics, often referred to as A maths. And that is an option. As you could see previously on the slides, it was available in option subject 2 and subject 3. And our strong mathematicians will choose to take that course. And it will also lead on to doing higher level mathematics in year 5 and year 6, should the student stay on and do the IBDP. For taking additional mathematics, the entry criteria is that students must have at least a grade B in the end of year exam of year 2. And it's really for students who want to pursue courses in mathematics, engineering, and so on when they get to IBDP and university. All students will take English. Most students will take English language, but some of our ESOL students will take English as a second language. But for the English language course, that's also the compulsory English course for our mainstream students. And then English literature is the option. So every student will do English. Some students will do English language and English literature if they choose to do English literature as another of their options, which I think was in subject option number 3 on my previous slide. And the English literature course is split into 3 papers, which are all examined, and you can see the weighting there. But certainly you can read more about the English literature course in the IGCSE options booklet. Science, there are 3 sciences which we offer at the school: biology, chemistry, and physics. And each of these sciences has 3 papers. Paper 2 is a compulsory multiple choice paper. Paper 4 is an extended theory and short answer paper. And paper 6 is the alternative to practical, where having done experiments throughout the course, students will be examined on different processes within the experiments in theoretical manner. Sorry, just okay, and then each of the 3 sciences is structured completely independently. So there's the classes are separate, and each science is taught distinctively. Many of our students wish to take triple science. And triple science just means taking all 3 sciences: biology, chemistry, and physics. But because this limits the subject choices so extensively and also requires a very scientific sort of mind of the student, and it really slants towards science and maths, we do have strict entry conditions for students who wish to take all 3. So first of all, they must have a grade 6 for the subject attainment across all of their year 2 reports. They must also get an 80% equivalent to a grade B in the end of year exam for science in year 2. And their effort should also be high on all previous reports throughout year 2, meaning really a level 6 or above. And then if they meet those criteria, the science teacher will recommend them for triple science. Now, we do have limited places available for triple science, so those criteria are very strictly adhered to. So if you don't meet those criteria, then it's unlikely we will be able to look at your case for your child to take triple science. They really need to meet those as a minimum to get into the triple science course. And just to give you an example of some of the courses from senior division in year 5 and 6 that are required for certain university courses, if you're jumping ahead sort of 4 or 5 years and thinking about university desires and requirements. Engineering courses will generally require maths and physics. So that's mentioned here because to do higher level maths in year 5 and 6, the student should do additional maths in year 3 and 4. To do physics at higher level, obviously they should do physics and do very well in middle division, as well as likewise for chemistry. Medicine definitely requires chemistry and biology higher level in senior division, so that should be a focus in middle division to get to progress into IBDP HL for those subjects. And you can read some of the other examples there as well. And there are more extensive examples at the end of this slideshow, and also I think in the information booklet as well. But if you have any questions at all about future career pathways and then dependency on courses within the IBDP or in the IGCSE program, then do please speak to our higher ed team or one of the teachers. And there's definitely a section on the Padlet where you can ask such questions about course requirements and what recommendations can be made. So the ESOL course, that's for students who are mainly or who are all already studying as an ESOL student, as a second language English student. It's not an option to open to all students, only for those who are still developing their English. In the humanities, we had 5 subjects available: of geography, history, business studies, economics, and global perspectives, whereas that's a slightly different structure from what students will be familiar with from their time in junior division and year 2. So you can study any 2 of those if you want. Everybody will do at least one of those, but some students, if they pick to do so, can do 2 of those. But with the previous restriction I mentioned, you cannot do business studies and economics. Too similar and take up too many of the students' options. So there's some information on the screen, which I won't go through. You can go back and look at these slides in your own time. They'll be available on the school website under the middle division section, and also the options booklet, which is available on the Padlet and the website. And that has this information, but in greater detail with more commentary. And this has been prepared by each faculty, so it's detailed by the subject experts. Physical education. So all students will take one lesson of PE as a core PE. That's just part of the curriculum. But some students may also may select to choose physical education PE as an IGCSE examinable subject. And it's a combination of theory and practical. It relies quite heavily on the proficiency within different sports, which is why the head of faculty there has said, do you need to be good at sports to take this course? And the answer is yes. You will be assessed in 4 or 5 courses. You can see there on the screen, 50% of this course is practical performance, where candidates will be assessed on 4 different sporting activities where they need to have a particular level of proficiency. And 50% of the course will be an examinable paper, a theory paper, which they will sit as an exam at the end of the course. To give you an example of some of the sports where students can be assessed within this subject, you can see there's a whole range there. And the reason I want to point that out is that we don't teach all of those subjects, but students may be partaking in some of those subjects. So, for example, water polo. We don't teach that here at the school. We don't have a swimming pool, but many of our students may be part of a water polo club outside of school. And if they are particularly good at water polo, they may choose for that external club to be where they are assessed in that sport. So they will record themselves completing certain tasks within that sport, and that will be submitted as the coursework for one of the sports for that for PE that they submit, and that will be assessed by an external examiner reviewing the video and looking at the skills they've demonstrated. So that's just to give you an example that sporting interests that students have outside of school can still be used towards their IGCSE PE. So that's really why I mention it. Okay. And then with the arts, we have 3 different art subjects on offer. We have music, drama, and art and design. They all have a particular component of coursework. The music is made up between listening, performing, and composing. Drama is made up between the written examination and then 3 coursework pieces, which are individual and group performances, which are recorded and assessed and sent away to the exam board. And art and design has a coursework element as well as a task assigned by the examining board. So I've mentioned a few times that much of this information will be available online on the school website. So when you go to the ACS International website, you will see the middle division section, It is one of the links on the home page. If you click on that, it will take you to a page that looks something like this. This screenshot is from last year because not all the links have been put up for this year yet. They will be done this afternoon and tomorrow upon completion of this presentation. So when you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see all these links, and you will see that the information booklet is available there. It's also available on the Padlet. The slides should already be there from this morning. This presentation that's being recorded will also be put up in that location, as well as the options form, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So that's what the information booklet looks like. So it's a very lengthy PDF that has detailed information about each and every subject that can be chosen at IGCSE level. The options form, which students can access to complete their options, is also available through that location. And you'll see it'll look something like that. And when you click on the link, it will look like that. Now, one point to just be very clear on here, if you try clicking on this as a parent, it won't work for you because students need to be logged into their ACS International email address in order to access the form. It is only open and available to those with an @ACS International domain email address. So if you want to go through this form with your child, they will be the ones who need to log in and open the form under their school email address. So it's not because we want to hide it from you or anything. I do encourage you to look at it with your child and talk to them about all the options. But it just helps us record and make sure that we don't get duplicate entries, that is the right person filling out, etc. So that's where they will get the form from through the school website, and that's what the form will look like. So that's just reiterating it must be through the ACS International email account. You can have a look at these slides because obviously we want to make a note that some of the choices made now do impact university choices later down the line. So just to have a look both through the slides, but also in the IGCSE options booklet about those areas where selection of IGCSEs will impact selection at IBDP, which will impact selection at university. So I've already mentioned some of those courses, but the ones to take particular note of are business, economics, engineering, and medicine, as well as law, occupational therapy, psychology, science-related subjects, architecture, etc. So these are some key people. Hopefully you've seen me on screen and you're aware of who I am as the Vice Principal Middle Division, and also supported right now on this call by Miss Pamela. Her email address is there on the screen as well. And then two members of our Higher Education and Careers team, Miss Janita and Mr. Nicholas Chia. All of us are available for your questions, and we all have access to the Padlet as well. So I reiterate, the best place to place any questions that you might have is on the Padlet. So what happens next? There's a set of deadlines by which this process will be completed. Obviously, we're having that call right now on the 14th of August, and this will be placed once I've processed the recording. It'll be placed on the school website for you to replay and perhaps slow down if I've been talking too fast and you haven't caught everything that I've said, but also just hear what I've said about different slides again as well. And the options form will also be available online for students to click from this afternoon, and that must be submitted by August the 29th. Now, there's no first come, first serve basis for options. It doesn't work that way. We try and cater to everybody's needs, so there's no rush to complete it. Please do take your time with your child to consider the different options, to look at what the implications of different subjects are and what their long-term aspirations might be, and just make sure that that form is submitted by the end of this term, which is the 29th of August at 3 p.m. Following that process, Ms. Pamela will look at the different options and look if there's any complicated selections that need perhaps adjusting. Usually there isn't too much that needs adjusted. But then the end of year exams in year 2 will take place towards the end of October. And following that, some students might feel, oh, I didn't do very well in my maths exam, so I need to change my A maths option, or I actually thought I was quite good at geography, but I decided I don't really like to do that. My exam didn't go very well. I want to change my option, etc., etc. Or they might have to change if if a student has selected triple science but has not done well enough in the end of year exam, then Miss Pamela will come back to you and your child and ask you to swap. The 29th of October till the 3rd of November is the only time that options can be changed after being submitted on the 29th of August. So let me be very, very clear with that. There is a 1 week period from the 29th of October to the 3rd of November where students can change their options. That might be because they have to change because of their performance in end of year exam, or they want to change because of their performance in end of year exam, or a change of mind. But that is the window of opportunity to change subjects. Beyond those dates, no changes are permitted, and that includes when a student starts the course in January. If they do 3 weeks of the course in January and decide they don't like the subject and they want to change, we do not permit changes. Classes tend to be very full. We have to manage the number of classes that we run based on student options, and staffing allocation is done on that basis. So that is all concluded before the start of term in January, and often classes will be at capacity at 24, 25 students. So we do not permit any changes after that 3rd of November date. So I'm sorry to drone on about it a little bit, but we do get many requests each year. So I just want to be very clear that the opportunity for any changes after the submission of the form on the 29th of August is between the 29th of October and the 3rd of November. And then a couple of weeks later, Miss Pamela will compile all of the class lists to make sure that we can support everybody's choices. And a final confirmation of subject selection will be given to the students in a printout form on speech day on the 13th of November. And that will confirm the students' choices for the coming 2 years in year 3 and 4, and their exciting time through the middle division, where we'll see them grow as individuals and also as confident young academics in each of their subjects. So my final slide is just the question slide, which, as I mentioned, I'm not going to take verbally. Miss Pamela has been monitoring the Q&A chat, but also the Padlet. So if there's anything, Miss Pam, has there anything come up in the chat in the Zoom? No. So most people, I think, are using the Padlet, which is excellent. I do appreciate that. It's easier for us to manage, and it also allows your question to be seen by everybody else at a later date too, so that other parents can learn from your query. So please do make use of that Padlet. Have a look at what people have written. And if you have any questions about the overall approach in the middle division, or any particular subject selection question, or any subject option, then please do place it on the Padlet. And a subject specialist, or me, or Miss Pamela, or the higher ed team will get back to you within a day or two by putting the answer on the Padlet as well for you to read and for other parents to read. So that's really all the information that I have to cover today. I've had a question for the IGCSEs. Do we need to reapply access? I think, is this for access arrangements, perhaps for extra time? I'm not sure. Well, maybe if it's quite a specific question, maybe drop me an email with that question, or you can place it on the Padlet, and we'll try and get that answered as well. So really, I just want to close by saying welcome to Middle Division as I work with your child over the next couple of years with Miss Pamela. It's a very exciting time in secondary as students develop a lot of independence. And they enjoy making selections for the first time in their own learning in terms of what subjects they want to study, and it really shapes them as individuals. So it's why I enjoy much of my job working with students of this age, and I look forward to getting to know you a little bit better and supporting you and your family as your child progresses through the middle division. So thank you very much for your continued support of the school and the division. And I look forward to working with your child or children over the coming years in this exciting process. So thank you very much for joining today.